J-Lo, you already know what time it is. Time to get this show on the road. Let's go.
Say less. I'm on my way.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the hit. I am Logan Graffia. He is Calvin Rons. We have a great show for you today. This is too even theatric even for me. Wow. Anyway, let's get right into the first topic, which is kind of a sad one, unbelievably at the moment. The New Orleans Pelicans, Calvin. They have fallen 8 games. They are on a 8 game losing streak and now have fallen to the 8th seed when they were the fourth and even at one point the first seed. They are now in play-in territory if something doesn't change or if they don't make a trade as soon as possible, in my opinion. But the first question is, Calvin, is it time to hit the panic button yet?
Uh, no, because I don't think it's really fair to panic when you don't even have your best guy on the court. I mean, Zion is showing you why he should be in MVP conversations. To me, an MVP is somebody whose team cannot function without them. And I get it. Bi is 2 games into being out 30 plus games, but it's going to take him a little while to get back to the swing of things. But Zion just made things go. I mean, the game I can think of is the Timberwolves game, scoring 14 straight points in the fourth quarter, and I'm in the stadium, I'm in the arena, I'm seeing it live. I mean, the guy just absolutely took over. I mean, if this was Madden, his X factor is glowing red. He's going crazy, and that's the type of guy that you have. And I mean, Bi, I think could take over a game like that, but not to that magnitude. He does help, obviously, but the team just looks so bad right now, and we are pretty low in scoring offense right now. And it sucks when you're missing a 25 point, maybe even 30 point per game guy like Zion. But I mean, at least we got Bi back. But I don't really expect him to just be back immediately. I mean, it's gonna take us a little minute to get back to the swing of things. We all know how Bi is when he gets back from injury or missing games. He takes a little minute, and you can see he's visibly frustrated. I mean, so is the rest of the team. But I don't think it's time to panic yet. We have a lot of season left. We're only like 2.5 games behind, like the fourth seed. I think we'll be fine. I think we're still better than those teams. It's just getting healthy. Hopefully Zion's back before All Star break, which I think he will be. Um, so don't panic yet.
Well, I mean, I'm getting close to hitting the panic button because it's like we were at one point talking, okay, we're the first seed in the West. We could be the best team in the NBA, but other than the Celtics, and now we're taking that 8 game slide. I mean, we've seen this team even just as early as last year. We started 3-16, and then we turned it around and made it all the way to the 8th seed and took the Suns to, I think, 7 games, 6 games. But I really truly believe this team is lacking more shooting, which is offense. We got the defense, that's fine, but there's also the lack of a shooting. I mean, yes, we have Trey Murphy. Yes, we have CJ McCollum. Brandon Ingram's back, but not to his normal self yet. I think this team can benefit from trading for a guy like OG Anunoby that they've been connected to in a lot of trade rumors. I was talking to someone I have an insider for this, and I saw something where someone sent me a link, and then I sent it to him. I said, It was about OG Anunoby maybe potentially being traded to the Pelicans, and then I asked him. I said, "Okay, is the coffee brewing hotter now?" Because the week before that, he told me, "Okay, this is just kind of brewing. It's not scorching hot yet." I asked him, "Is it scorching hot yet, or is it getting close to that?" And one word was yes. So I don't know if that means we're close to making a deal. I don't know if that means it's happening soon, but you can only hope because the trade deadline, I want to say, is the day before the Super Bowl, February 11th. So we have time to make a trade, but not much time. I think we got to do it as soon as possible because I think the 2 week evaluation of Zion is coming up this upcoming week at the time we're recording this. So when Zion comes back, maybe things change. I mean, maybe his presence alone changes the way things are. But I really truly believe that you got to get Devontae Graham out of here. You got to get Jackson Hayes out of here. You got to get those two, especially Devontae Graham, out of here because I mean, I want to see Kyra get more minutes, and I know we have Dyson Daniels, but after what I saw against the Milwaukee Bucks, the minutes that Kyra got, he looked really good. He looked like the guy that you can see why the Pelicans wanted him at pick 13 in round one, like a few years ago. Because I mean, when he was healthy, before he tore his ACL last year, he was making strides. We all saw it. You and I both even said, "Wow, Kyra's making significant strides, getting better." And he gets hurt, and then now here we are. We're begging for Kyra minutes over Devontae Graham. But and I also don't really understand why that you keep seeing Jackson. So there's certain games that I want to pinpoint that why are you putting Jackson in over Billy Hernan Gomez? Like tonight, we didn't see Billy at all. Now I get it. I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks bigs can run, they can shoot, and but Billy is a freaking Euro League, Eurobasket MVP. They don't just give that to anybody. They really don't. You know how good you have to be in the Eurobasket League or like the Euro League to get that? Those guys over there can play. Because I mean, let's just say this. Luca even said the NBA is softer than the Euro League. I mean, they said the Euro League is like 80s like toughness over there compared to what the NBA is. I mean, that says a lot. So I think changes need to be made, and I don't know if you agree with me on some of the changes that need to be made. Like, does Devontae Graham has to go, and so does Jackson Hayes, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Every podcast this year, I have been saying those two need to go, especially Devontae Graham. Devontae Graham just unplayable. He just is. I don't think. I think he's hit his ceiling. Obviously, I mean, you're going to get what you're going to get out of him. Sure, I could get a nice looking 9 points with three threes. I mean, that's fine, but I mean, I need some playmaking. I need some defense, and I just think he's an absolute liability out there. Um, I'd even say, Isaiah Thomas in his later years would be better than Devontae Graham right now. I mean, even though the guy has no defense, I mean, at least I know he can go give me 25 points if I need it. Because I think Isaiah Thomas can still give you that in the league. Because I mean, a scorer is a scorer, and Devontae isn't a scorer. He's a streaky guy. That's what he is. He's a streaky volume shooter, and you need to give him shots. That's why he was successful in Charlotte because he was one of the only guys. So he had to take most of the shots, and that's what works for him. And unfortunately, here that's just not gonna fly. It's just not. We can't rely on his catch and shoot because it's not that great. Like I said, I mean, I think he was shooting probably around 20% since Thanksgiving from three, which is god awful. And if you're shooting 20% for a month, I mean, you saw what we did to JJ Redick when he was shooting terrible. We said, oh well, goodbye. We got you for one thing, and that's scoring, and you ain't doing that. Well, you got to go, and that's what we have Devontae for. If he ain't doing that, then you got to go. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, this is business. I mean, if you're not doing your job, then you're gonna get fired. That's just how it is. But I do agree with the fact that we definitely need to make some changes and hopefully we get OG. I already said I'm fine with OG or Bojan or Gary Trent. It doesn't matter. You can flip a coin, throw a dice in there. It doesn't matter. Whichever one it lands on, I'm fine with. Every one of those guys will improve us. We can get one, we can get two. Hell, if we can get all three, That'd be fantastic. I mean, that's highly unlikely, but I mean that would be fantastic. But I mean, the schedule coming up, it's tough. I mean, we got Denver, we got the Lakers, we got the Kings. I mean, all these teams are running hot right now. I don't really want to see any of them at the moment. I mean, I still think we could beat the Lakers just because of the Lakers, but they've been playing really good, and LeBron's been playing out his mind. And if you check the sports book odds for all my betting fans out there, I believe it is minus 180 that LeBron breaks the record against the Pelicans.
That's how it
As I
always
mentioned,
happens. That's
yeah,
how it always
it always
happens.
happens
It always happens against New Orleans sports teams. It never fails.
every
The
time.
the
Every time.
Saints, the Pelicans, or the Hornets. I mean, it doesn't matter. It could have been the Breakers in 1984. If there's a record, it's gonna be broken
It's
against
gonna be
New
broken in New
Orleans.
Orleans, and
It's gonna
I
be the
say I
first.
say double him, double LeBron. I don't care. I'm salty. I'm bitter. I'm petty. I'm doubling LeBron all game. I don't care if I lose the game or not. You ain't gonna break the record on me. I'm sorry. Not in the Smoothie King Center, you're not. Not with Anthony Davis on that team, you're not. I'm not letting that happen. That's too many narratives. I don't like that. And I don't want to be seen on Sports Center all day, every day. Even if we win the game, the only thing that's gonna matter is LeBron broke the record. So yeah, he can do that the next game. He can do that the game before that. I don't want to see it against us. Go do it against the Kings or whoever they play. Don't do it against us.
You can only hope that Zion is back for that game, but it might be unlikely. I don't know if that fits the timeline, but we'll see. My only thing is, I think we can get healthy during the All Star break. I think after All Star break, you're going to see this team maybe make a run at it again, like we saw in the first 43 games. But we're just going to have to see. I really hope we make. I hope Zion gets back. I hope we make a
We're
trade
just
for.
just not playing good basketball right now,
We're
man. I
not.
mean, even with Bi on the court, we're just not good. Nothing is good right now. It's just the
It
shots aren't
seems like
falling, which
it
I
seems like we're
understand.
out of gas. It
Yeah, I
seems
mean,
like
yeah,
we're out of
we are out of
gas.
gas, and Jonas has been extremely disappointing to me, and I honestly Willie Green has also been very disappointing to me. I don't know what Mike D'Antoni is on this staff for because Mike D'Antoni is supposed to be an offensive guru. If you need help with offensive schemes or anything like that, Willie Green, you gotta use your coaching analyst guy, Mike D'Antoni. Is one of the best offensive coaches in the league ever. Like use him. I really need to see some Rockets era basketball stuff happening here with Bi. I need to see something, some type of offense is generating. And there's no excuse as to why Jonas should be not having 15 plus points a game. It just shouldn't happen. He's way too good offensively for you to not utilize him. We have not utilized Jonas Valanciunas enough. We're utilizing Devontae Graham too much. And I just think Willie Green's lineups has been very, very questionable at best. They're too inconsistent. We don't really have a set 10-9 man rotation because it's either Jackson's getting minutes or Billy's getting minutes, Kyra's getting minutes. We just don't really know. And that needs to change. We need to have a definitive answer, and this is when I say you might have too many cooks in the kitchen with the depth. Because Billy can play, Jazz can play. They're all guys in the NBA for a reason. I mean, obviously, I still want Jazz gone. Devontae Graham, he will be a backup. He will get his minutes in the NBA for the rest of his career. But I just think that you have to figure it out. You have to have a set lineup, and that's when you get rid of about three guys, maybe even four guys to help Willie out with that decision. Because sometimes you got to get rid of some people just to make the decision easier for your guy. I mean, Willie Green's gonna keep playing Devontae Graham until he dies. So let's get him off the team so he can save himself from shooting himself in the foot like he's been doing. So make some changes. Make some changes. Willie Green, get better, man.
Well, before we move on to the next topic, I think my dream lineup after the All Star break would, of course, be CJ, OG Ananobi, Bi, Zion, Jonas. That would be a great starting five, and then you can have Herb and Trey come off the bench with Billy and Larry Nance and Jose. That's second, and then you can even throw in Dyson in there and Kyra. Heck, I mean, you could throw in Garrett Temple because I mean he gave good minutes against the Heat. But moving on to our next topic, the NFL. We just recently watched the AFC Championship game with the Bengals and the Chiefs. Came down to the wire, 23-20 Chiefs over the Bengals. Bengals come up just short with LSU's pride and joy, Joe Burrow on the other side. There was a lot of questionable calls in that game, Calvin, especially towards the end of the game. I don't know if you saw it, but what do you make of some of the questionable calls in the AFC Championship game? Which, I mean, especially, I mean, as an official, I know that might have been a late hit out of bounds, but you can't call that. That basically determines the game. That really does. I mean, officials can't determine a game. You can make calls in a game, but you can't decide a win or a loss. That just seems like to me that it was scripted. I mean, it's starting to seem like that now, but I mean, I might seem crazy saying that. I mean, I don't really think things are scripted in the NFL, but sometimes it makes you wonder: are they betting on these games too? I mean, like, come on.
Um, well, let me go out and say I think your fandom for Joe Burrow is affecting your mind just slightly. I think you have to, in fact, call that last call because I'm a defensive player. Obviously, I'm going to take up for my defensive guys. Playing defense is extremely difficult nowadays. College, NFL
Oh
doesn't matter
yes.
because everything is catered to the offense, and even as a D lineman, it is really difficult uh, to sack a quarterback now because anything you do is a penalty. You can't fall on top of him. You can't roll on like your momentum. You basically have to defy the laws of physics to tackle a quarterback nowadays in the pocket, which is just unheard of. And we seen it last week. Uh, I believe it was the Bengals. The defender last week hit Joe Burrow but didn't make the tackle in the end zone. No, or was it the 49ers? Doesn't matter. Last week in the playoffs, somebody made a hit on a quarterback that would have resulted in a safety if they would have completed it, but the quarterback got hit. Nothing happened because the guy let go. He pulled up, he hit him, and he's like, all right, I need to stop because I know I'm going to get a penalty here. Quarterback got free, threw a dot. I think it was Dak Prescott. That's who it was. It was Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott got hit in the end zone when he was running. It was that last series that they had before that very idiotic play call with Zeke at center. Um, it should have been a safety, but the guy was trying to pull up and not hurt Dak too much and get a penalty. So you're seeing the effects of that already. But I think you have to call that. I don't think that's necessarily affecting the game or saying, oh, we want this person to win. That was, in fact, a very blatant call, very blatant, uh, unnecessary roughness. And, if you're going to bring that up and say, oh, you can't call that in that situation, I mean, then I guess people are right when in 2018 with the Saints no call, if you call that call, the Saints win the game. That's just how it is. So that affects the game, but they didn't, and that also affected the game in that way. So that is a call that you have to call. You have to make that call. I'm not mad at that call, but looking at the officiating all around this week, I've seen blatant false starts by Lane Johnson. Uh, during the Eagles game that were not called. I've seen the clock do some very magical things in the favor of the Chiefs today that made me say, I don't know about that. Uh, it seems like, you
What
know,
about the three third and nines that they got? Like, I've never heard of that.
yeah, see, that's very weird and it is very telling. Conspiracy theories are the big thing now. People are conspiring against, DeMar Hamlin, which I don't
Being a
know why people
clone,
believe that. I don't know why people believe that crap, but uh,
it's so
you know,
stupid.
it's just that's just how it is. People are looking, with some skepticism with against the NFL now because sports betting now people are more privy to it, and now more and more states are doing it. That's more and more money, and the NFL loves money. And when there's money to be made, you best believe the NFL will do it, and so will FanDuel, DraftKings, sports, all these sports books. They're going to make their money, and if that means rigging some games, you best believe that might be a thing. Just understanding what games are rigged and why, I don't know. Just like we could have had Breeze and Brady in the Super Bowl in 2018, but we got Golf and Brady. I don't understand what that was supposed to be. I get it, the LA market, but the New Orleans market resulted in more viewership the entire season. So I don't understand. But officiating is bad. It's been bad all season. It's not the worst I've seen all season. I think a couple seasons ago was pretty bad. But man, officiating now in these games, they've been pretty telling. They've been pretty bad. especially for the Chiefs. They going the Chiefs and Eagles way. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to call this Super Bowl because we have the two darlings of the NFL playing just like how they want it. So let's see how this goes.
Well, I mean, that brings me to my next topic, the NFC Championship game. I mean, it was just bad luck for the 49ers all game long. I mean, going there, it's already kind of rainy. Then Brock Purdy goes out with an elbow injury, which a lot of former quarterbacks came out and spoke out about, like Terry Bradshaw, Chase Daniel, said that it looks like one of those nerve injuries or all whatever.
That
Yeah,
UCL, shout out.
yeah, yeah, where you can't. Well, it's not like it's broke or torn or anything. It's just you can't grip the ball and you can't feel your hand, and he won't probably feel it till the next day. So then once I've read that from Chase Daniel and heard Terry Bradshaw say that, I'm like, oh no, he's out for the game. Then you see NFL journeyman Josh Johnson make an appearance in the NFC Championship game, and it did not go well at all. It just looked like Eagles all day. Jalen Hurts looked really good. I mean, Miles Sanders looked good. AJ Brown, Hassan Reddick looked really good. And I also got to shout out the Eagles' defensive line. I mean, Ndamukong Suh made a few plays today, or a couple plays. I won't want to say a few, but both games today. I mean, the NFC Championship game, I want to say, was actually pretty straightforward officiated. AFC Championship game was poorly officiated, but as New Orleans sports fans, we're used to poorly officiated games. But the Super Bowl matchup, Chiefs and Eagles, just so we can move on to our next NFL topic, I'm gonna say, give me the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs winning it.
I got my guy Milton Williams playing for the Eagles. I really
I
want him.
already know.
Uh, but I was talking smack to him early in the season. I remember before the season, I told him that they wasn't gonna go nowhere, and here they are in the Super Bowl. But I did tell him they was not gonna beat the Saints. I said, if y'all go to the Super Bowl, it don't matter. Y'all not beating the Saints, and they didn't do that. So if he listened
I'm
to it,
so
hey,
shocked.
I was right. Uh, but I'll tell y'all what. You know what? If they win, I'll try to get them on the podcast here. I think that'd be very interesting to see. Get some inside information on how all that plays out, and some stories from the season. Because I do have some stories that he told me about, Fletcher Cox and those guys and what it's like being a rookie last year. So, he can come on and do that. But just real quick, um, I ain't gonna say who I want win because I think the refs are gonna win. Whoever they want win, that's who's gonna win. So that's what I'm gonna say. The refs got
True.
it. The refs got it. That's what I'm cheering for. I'm cheering for the refs. Whatever team win, whatever. I was on their side. Um, but let the Eagles be a testament. I tweeted this out today. The Eagles have won a Super Bowl. They have rebuilt their team, gone through a rebuild, and then they have went back to the Super Bowl in the same amount of time as it has taken for the Saints Super Bowl window from 2017 to 2021 or whenever you want to say the window closed. I mean, or even now. It just goes to show you when you have competent front offices. And every single year, I have been going down this trail of the Saints front office is no longer competent because we have seen nothing but questionable moves from Mickey Loomis for the past couple of seasons. We have seen the front office agree with Sean Payton and just absolutely uh, ignoring the quarterback position and not having a plan for the future at quarterback, setting us back effectively currently 2 years, which can get longer if we don't figure this out. Leaving the wide receiver room to be absolutely ghastly and horrible. Now Michael Thomas is hurting. We don't know what's going to happen with him. And, we got Chris Olave, but, that's one of the great things that Dennis Allen decided to do. Go get receivers because we surely needed it. But shout out to them. Shout out to the Eagles. Shout out to the 49ers because those are all teams that showed you this is how you continue making your team good. Both of those teams have been to more Super Bowls in the span of their windows as the Saints window, even though the Saints were supposed to be consensus best team in the league for 3 years from like 2017 to 2019, 2020. Um, and I think that the Saints need to look at that. Continuity is not the answer here because the 49ers have fired and hired coaches. They've lost coaches. The Eagles have fired everyone in the front office. They fired everyone in the coaching staff and have still made it to Super Bowl quicker than they have. And also one more thing, 'cause I know I'm going too long here, but um, shout out to Howie Roseman for absolutely showing you what a real general manager looks like and absolutely masterclassing the hell out of Mickey Loomis. I think Mickey Loomis got his foot in his mouth on this one because not only did Howie Roseman look at him in the eye and say, you know what, Mickey Loomis, the very famed, infamous, whatever you want to call it, Mickey Loomis, I know you're known for fleecing people, whatever, but guess what? I'm going to go fleece you. Not only am I going to take one of your best defensive players for nothing, I'm going to give you a fifth, sixth rounder. Who cares? But I'm also going to take your first round pick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get Hassan Reddick, who for some reason the Cardinals decided to let go. I don't understand that. Never did. And then while the Saints and a whole bunch of other teams were struggling at the defensive tackle position, they said, you know what? Ndamukong Suh is the best prospect out right now. Why don't we go pick him up? We'll have him as a third string because we're that deep at the position, but we're still going to do it anyway. So your team couldn't get him. I've been a big supporter of hogging and hoarding talent. I think Antonio Brown should have been signed to the Saints because we needed that receiver help. And just imagine if he was on this team in 2018, this would be a completely different story, or 2019 rather, instead of the Bucks. So Howie Roseman, congratulations. You have given a masterclass on how to absolutely screw all these other GMs and how to put your nuts on the table and be a real GM. And Mickey Loomis, I hope he can figure that out. And if he doesn't, I'm on the train of getting him out of here. All right, next topic.
Well, kind of went off the rails a little bit there. But my next thing would be, since we're talking about coaching staffs and front offices, Nick Casario and the McNairs, I can't believe I'm saying this, are on the verge. All they have to do is put ink to paper of hiring a home run hire as their next head coach, D'Amico Ryans, the current defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. Well, as it stands, he's the DC there, but all signs point to him returning to Houston as a head coach, which leaves only two more openings, which leaves the next question: where will Sean go? There's Denver, there's Arizona, and there's also the Fox studio. There's rumors out there. I mean, before all this started, they asked Sean, where do you think, if you had to give it a number out of 10, where do you think you'll be back here at Fox out of 10? He said 7. 7 out of 10, that's 70%. Now we are just seeing recently, everyone's saying, okay, the window's closed on Sean Payton. He's not going to Arizona or Denver. Well, that video of him and Michael Bidwell leaving the Cardinals facility after Sean being there literally all day, 8 hours, makes you wonder. Then more news came out where everyone said, oh, Saints are just going to get like a third round pick for Sean or something like that. Not so fast. I know you just gave your little rant on Mickey Loomis, but what Mickey's doing right now is incredibly the right move and smart. Everyone's lenient of trading for Sean Payton because Mickey Loomis wants 2 first round picks, not just 1, 2. But as I was explaining to some people, I said, look, if the Cardinals offer you pick 3 this year and a second round next year, you take that.
You take
I'm
it.
taking that.
You
You have to take that because, one, you get pick 3 this year and you get CJ Stroud, or if the Texans are dumb and pass on Bryce Young and they take CJ, well, it's not dumb. You can't go wrong either way. But say the Colts trade up to the number 1 pick and get somebody like Will Levis, just screw it all up and get Will Levis, ha 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 ha, on them for doing that. But you get pick 3, CJ Stroud is sitting right there. You get your quarterback. He's already got chemistry with Olave. Olave was a first round pick because of CJ Stroud, mainly because of CJ Stroud. Before that was
him and Garrett Wilson.
Justin. Yes, him and Garrett Wilson, exactly. Both of them in the league, and they're both was up for offensive rookie of the year. So you get CJ Stroud, and you get a second round pick in next year too. I'm fine with that. If that's the haul, I'm fine with that because you get your quarterback. But the odds are not in our favor on that. So I'm not going to hold my breath, but would I be happy that we get the third pick? Absolutely. If that's the only thing we're going to get, you know what? Fine. That third round, Sean Payton in exchange for CJ Stroud, I feel like that's maybe an equally fair trade. I mean, I don't know if we win a Super Bowl with somebody like C.J. Stroud. It's possible if you put the right staff around him. But if you had to ask me where I think Sean winds up in 2023, I think he's back at Fox. Don't know if you agree, but I still firmly believe that Denver's going to panic and hire somebody else. And I also think he's not going to the Colts. They're not even in the running. Then you got Arizona. I think Arizona's going to hire Brian Flores. I really do. So I think he's going to be back at Fox.
That would suck, but it won't be as bad as people say. People saying, "Oh, you the longer you wait, the less it gets." No, because let's say Denver and Arizona go in different directions and they still suck, or let's say the Panthers still suck. Let's say the Texans still suck. The Texans they will fire a coach after 1 year. I mean, they've proven that. And then there's other like, what if the Chargers suck again? Brandon Staley's out of there. He has to be. And if the Cowboys suck again, you're going to see that job open up. I guarantee you. They fired Kellen Moore and I think Dave Nussmeier is his name, the quarterback coach. They're firing people left and right today. Uh, so jobs will open up next year. They will. I mean, that's just how it is. And if I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate, because the argument that everyone's hearing is, oh well, it's not worth trading the first round pick. Well, number one, Bill Belichick got traded for a first round pick, and then the Patriots ended up winning a Super Bowl. John Gruden got a first round pick traded for him, and he won the Super Bowl after that. I mean, it can work. It has worked, and the devil's advocate part of me is, says, you know what, I do understand the hesitancy because this man has had a Hall of Fame quarterback for 15 plus years. He has had a historically great offense, consistently year in and year out. And in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, all of those teams were good enough to win. All of them. Maybe not so much 2020, but whatever. Like, they all were good enough to win a Super Bowl, especially 2018, especially 2011, especially 2013, I believe it was. All these teams were good enough to win. They were the best teams in football, and you didn't win. In 16 years with Hall of Fame quarterback, historically great offenses, and you got historically good defenses later on, you didn't win. You only won one Super Bowl. That's the argument against him. That's what people are hesitant about because they know these teams don't have a Drew Brees. I mean, Kyler Murray, he's not Drew Brees. Russell Wilson's not Drew Brees. That's the hesitancy. I get it. But I think it's still fair to ask for 2 first-round picks. This is me talking now. You have to give up these picks for a quarterback like that because, yes, you got to remember, if we make a tackle on Vernon Davis, we're going to the Super Bowl. If we make a tackle on Stephon Diggs, that's Super Bowl. If we get a call, that's Super Bowl. That's 3 extra opportunities at Super Bowl. Now instead of a one-time Super Bowl appearing head coach, now you have a 4-time appearing Super Bowl head coach. That sounds so much better. And, Sean has definitely made the team better, and you see how the team is without him. So I think you have to give those picks. But me personally, if you ask me where he's going, I think this is going to be like a Deshaun Watson situation where, either a team that we are not predicting comes in out of nowhere, because Sean did say, hey, next week you have to wait and see. That's when things going to kick up. Or B, you're going to go where the money is, right? There's going to be some team, because we see Denver is putting all their eggs in one basket. They're not really looking at all these other candidates. They're like, we want Sean Payton, and we got Walmart money, so we going to get me some Sean Payton. That's what they're saying. So, I think Denver might be doing themselves a disservice here by focusing way too much on Sean Payton, and he may not be interested. I don't know. There may be a PR tactic by Sean. Who knows? But I mean, it could be a real awkward situation. I don't even know what to think anymore. First it was Arizona, and then they're like, "Oh, no route." Then it was Denver, and I was like, we don't know." And then now he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the booth," and then now it's, "Oh, Arizona's back in the running." It's like, all right, Jesus Christ, I don't know. This is a Deshaun Watson situation where I've learned that nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows. Hopefully that little sexy walk he was hitting when he came my Arizona's facility, that little strut that he had. I know that strut. That's the I just got paid strut. I'm getting paid strut. I know what that is. So hopefully that's what it is, and we get the 3rd pick. If we don't get 3rd pick, it is what it is. Give us 2 first. I'll be happy.
Well, I mean, hey, if they give us a hypothetically, before we move on to our next and final topic, hypothetically, if they give us a first round pick next year, you can, or next year and the following year, you can package those to move into the first round this year, maybe into the top 10. And I know I'm going to maybe play devil's advocate here. I mean, if you move into the top 10, I mean, Will Levis will be there, which I'm not too big of a fan on. I'm really not. I like to joke about him a lot, but not too big of a fan on him. And then, I mean, there's Anthony Richardson, which I really am not a fan of. I think I don't see a first round pick. But I mean, the one intriguing prospect that no one talks about is Tanner McKee from Stanford. I mean, he is pretty. I'd say he's good, but first round pick good? No, I'd say maybe like early second round, like pick 33, which is high second round. But since we're talking about quarterbacks and rookies, let's talk about the Senior Bowl, Calvin. That's coming up very very soon. I want to just say there's I think three Saints staff members at the Senior Bowl on these coaching staffs. Ronald Curry being one of them. You can only hope that they see a quarterback that they like, or they talk to a quarterback that they like. Someone like maybe Hendon Hooker. I mean, he's not playing, but he will be there. But there are a lot of prospects at the Senior Bowl that I absolutely love. And before I say my three favorite prospects that I am looking forward to seeing at the Senior Bowl, who are some of your prospects to watch, Calvin?
So basically, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for these positions. I'm looking for receiver, and this is in no specific order. Receiver, DB, more specifically safety, maybe even a corner if you find one. Maybe a little nickel hybrid like a Chauncey or a Lante Taylor if you find one. Uh, Edge players, linebacker in case you don't re-sign Caden Ellis or if that's just not on the cards for you. And of course, quarterback. So the quarterback prospect that interests me, I mean, yeah, there's Hendon Hooker, whatever. Jaron Hall from BYU. Um, he's a bit of a name that nobody really brings up, but his arm talent interests me, and I think this is a BYU quarterback that could work out. I mean, we do have a BYU quarterback that's been pretty good on this roster, um, and maybe we get another one. And Zach Wilson, that would be something, but Uh, so receivers, I have Rasheed Rice and Nathaniel Dell. I think both of those guys would be extremely beneficial to this team. I don't really know what else to say about that. I mean, we need receivers. You can never have too much receivers in my book, right? And those guys are just ballers, man. Devon Witherspoon. I mean, he's. I don't think we're gonna have the draft capital to go get him. He's pretty early first round. He might go top 10. If he doesn't go top 10, he's going top 15 for sure. But he's just a name, just thought there. But a guy who could be there, Henry To'oTo'o, linebacker. I think I said his name right. I don't know. Uh, I've been watching him since his Tennessee days. My roommate's a Tennessee fan, so I've been watching a lot of Tennessee guys. And he goes to Alabama. He's been pretty decent. Then there's Ali Gay for LSU. I had to put a little hometown guy on there because I know Logan would love that, and I know you guys would too. Because I know how y'all are about y'all LSU folk. So having Ali Gay, which Saints don't draft LSU players, so I mean it is what it is. Uh, the edge needs help, and Ali Gay can give you help. And I think the biggest problem with our D line, and especially now since Ryan Nielsen is now no longer employed here, uh, I think you need to get younger. You need to get faster. I want a bunch of Micah Parsons on that D line on the edge. I need it. That is the archetype that is popular now. That's what you have to do. The Cam Jordans of the world, they're going out of style real quick. You need to go ahead and get you some Michael Parsons. So you know what I'm saying. So Alligate fist the mold a little bit there, but yeah, that's all my names.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you said edge rusher because I want to say this guy here. I mean, he almost didn't get eligible for the NFL draft because of Naval Academy duties and whatnot. I mean, Andre Carter the second. I mean, he might be one of the first Army guys drafted in the first round since probably maybe the freaking 50s, if I'm not mistaken.
Since World War II, how about that?
Since World War II, it's quite possible. I mean, I have to do more research, and I heard something very. I think I want to say I'm paraphrasing. I heard it was something to that effect. But yeah, Andre Carr is the second. I mean, that guy can play. You want to talk about maybe another Michael Parsons? That guy could be it. Then, I mean, you got to get some more hometown flavor. We need a running back. We need another running back to help Kamara out. I mean, Tajay Spears. I mean, I like the guy already. I mean, I met the guy. He's a freaking one of the nicest human beings you'll ever talk to. But, I mean, wow, I never thought I'd be saying, man, I really want us to draft this guy. I mean, he might. His running style is in between Matt Forte and, I mean, another player I cannot even think of right now. It's just Tajay Spears might be the best running back at from coming out of Tulane since Matt Forte, and that's saying a lot. I mean, I would love to get him, and then an underrated prospect from HBCU Jackson State, who is a tackling machine at the linebacker position. Could use another one because I mean, DeMario Davis ain't getting any younger. Aubrey Miller, that guy is a tackling machine, and those are my just favorite prospects. I mean, I doubt we get any of these guys that we mentioned because we know how the Saints are. I don't know how Dennis Allen's going to draft. I mean, everyone loved his last draft class and it didn't really work out all that well. So we'll see how this one goes in
We're
2023.
drafting an offensive lineman that came from a northern school that has a high RAS score. That's what's going to happen here. That per usual, it's on par. Or we're going to draft a big slow DN or give up 2 first-round picks for him. I mean, it's yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, that is all I have. But I want to try something new instead of just, a wrap up where we just talk about sports. But we'll just going to see how this goes. So we're going to just leave everybody with, if you make it to the end of this podcast, then thank you for watching. But before we go, I'd like to just leave some life advice from now on because I mean I know people that watch this may not want to hear life advice from somebody like me or even somebody like Calvin. That's no offense to me or him, but
No, hell no, nah. Y'all gonna listen to my advice, all right? Y'all gonna listen to what I gotta say.
all right. So before we go, Calvin, do you have any advice that you can give to the folks at home who may be watching right now?
So if I can remember the quote in my head, I used to say it all the time to myself before every game, every practice. Uh, I got a lot of different quotes like that. It's along the lines of uh, a man can defeat 1,000 enemies. A man can win 1,000 battles. I mean, this is unisex. It doesn't matter, man, woman, whatever else you identify as. You can put it there too. Doesn't matter. But a man can win 1,000 battles. A man can defeat 1,000 enemies. But a true warrior is one who can defeat himself. All right. Now I'm gonna let that sink in for a little bit. All right. A man who can conquer himself is a true warrior. You need to learn how to handle your business, handle yourself, and that's any other thing that gets thrown at you in life. That's all gonna become easy to you. So there you go.
I think we're going to end it on that, Calvin. We're going to each probably maybe take turns doing that from here on out, henceforth, as they like to say. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another fantastic edition of this podcast that is called The Hit. We really hope that you enjoyed this podcast. And if you would like to watch any of our other past podcast episodes, feel free to click the link below, like, subscribe, and don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, share this everywhere. Share it with all your family members. Share it with your girlfriend, your fiance, your wife, too. Share it with everybody you know. You can even share it with your mailman. It doesn't matter. Just continue to support us because can't do this without you. So, like I said, with that being said, I'm Logan Graffia. He's Kevin Rons. We shall see you next week.